Okay, guys, we are multiplying compound measures. So what we do, we just simply multiply normally first, but what we have to remember is how to convert them properly. The reason I'm pausing is because I feel like I did this already, but maybe I did it. Oh, yeah, we did it with subtraction in lesson 44. That's why it's looking familiar to me. All right. So we've already kind of done this with the conversion of our smaller measurement if it's too big at the end. Yeah, we've been doing this multiple lessons. That's why it's familiar. So we've really already kind of have done this, but now we're doing it with multiplication. So let's just work it together. So if you have 4 feet and 5 inches and you're multiplying that by 6, you're multiplying both of them by 6. So first you would multiply the 30 inches by 6. Let me get my pen a little skinnier here. And then the 4 feet would be 24. Okay. Now at this point, 30 inches is more than a foot. So we're going to have to take the feet out, right? So if I have 30 inches, how many feet can I take out of that? I'm thinking I could take 2 feet out because 1 foot would be 12 inches. 2 feet would be 24 inches. So if I take 2 feet out, I'm taking out 24 inches. And what am I left with? I'm left with 6 inches. So over here, I would be left with 6 inches. But I took out 2 feet, and I'm going to add that to my 24 inches. So I'm left with 26 feet and 6 inches. All right, let's try B. This one is hours and minutes. 12 times 8 minutes would be, would be 96 minutes. And then 8 times 2 hours would be 16 hours. All right, there's 60 minutes in an hour, so I can pull 60 minutes out. And that's why I'm subtracting it over here on the right. And I can only take 1 hour out, so I'm going to add an hour to this guy and make him 17 hours. This guy has lost 60 minutes, so he's down to 36 minutes. So I'm left with 17 hours and 36 minutes. All right, let's look at C. Here we have quarts and gallons. Here there's 4 quarts in a gallon. So 3 times 9 is 27 quarts. And 9 times 4 is 36 gallons. Okay? All right, so let's see how many quarts we can pull out. So if there's 4 quarts to every gallon, if I pull out what? Let's say I can't do 8 because 8 times 4 is 32. How about 7? 7 times 4 is 28. How about 6? Yep, I can pull out 6 quarts, or 6 gallons, which would be 24 quarts, because 6 times 4 is 24. So I can pull out 6 of them and take out those 6 gallons, which is 24 quarts. And so over here, I have 42 gallons now. And then 27 minus 24 is 3. And so I have 3 quarts left. All right. D is minutes and seconds. So it's 60 seconds equals a minute. All right, so 5 times 12 is 60. And 12 times 12 is 144. Minutes. Can't get that to make it. If I take out 60 seconds is a minute, so I can just take that and convert that to a minute, which would make it 145 minutes. All right, E is pounds and ounces. There's 16 ounces in a pound. 16 times 4 is 64. You know how I did that so quick? Well, 16 times 2, which is doubling 16, right? So if I double 16, that's 32. And if it's times 4, just double it again. 32 and 32 is 64. All right, 16 times 8. Well, 16 times 4 is 64. If I double that, that should be 16 times 8, right? So what's double 64? How about 128? That lovely skill of doubling really comes in handy sometimes. Okay? All right, so at this point, the question is, it takes 16 ounces to make a pound, right? So how many 16s can I pull out of there? Yeah, perfectly. 4 of them, right? Because 4 times 16 is 64. So 64 ounces is the same as 4 pounds. So I can get rid of that and just add it over here. And I'm left with 132 pounds. That one came out even. All right, I'm going to take a drink here. 4 weeks and 3 days times 19 weeks and days. Well, there's 7 days in a week. So 19 times 3. I'm going to think 20 times 3. What's 20 times 3? 60. Subtract 3. 60 minus 3 is 57. All right. 19 times 4. Well, 20 times 4 is 80. Take out 4, and I'm left with 76. Hopefully I did that right. We'll soon find out, right? When I look at the answer. All right. 57 days is how many weeks? Well, if I don't know off the top of my head, I know I'm not going to get an even number because 7 times 8 is 56, right? So if I pull out 8 days, that's 56 days. And that leaves me with 1 day. And 76 plus 8 is 84. So I'm left with 84 weeks in 1 day. As I look in my book, I got the right answer. All right, now this is review from the other days. So on A, we're going to add. All right, so let's add them up. We have 21 and 5 and 39. Okay, so I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to take 39 and add 1. That makes 40. 40 plus 20 makes 60. 60 plus 5 is 65. The lovely thing about adding and multiplication is you can move it around. All right, 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 plus 8 is 23. All right, now 65 minutes. 60 minutes is an hour, right? So we can pull out an hour, and I believe we're just left with 5 minutes. That we could just really do in our head. And then this would become 24 hours. And I look in my book and I'm right. Okay. B, we're going to subtract. So if I have 1 foot, I can't subtract 2 feet. So I'm going to borrow 3 feet or a yard and bring it over as 3 feet. So it's going to be plus the 3 plus the 1. So now I have 4 feet, right? So I have 4 feet, and over here I have 20 yards. Now I can subtract. 4 feet from 2 feet is 2 feet. And 20 from 16 is 4. Okay? If this is giving you any kind of trouble, you're like, oh, Kenny, I just really don't know how to do this. Please call me, and we'll talk through a few of them together on the phone. If you can, we can FaceTime. All right? Because this is different. You're borrowing and carrying, just like in adding and subtracting and multiplication. But you can't just you're not doing it in groups of 10 like normal. You're doing it in whatever measurement you're in. Like, let's look at the next one. We're in pounds and ounces. So any kind of borrowing or carrying has to be in terms of 16. 16 ounces is in a pound. And so as I look, I'm going to erase and get rid of some of my mess. As I look at C, I see that if I have 5 ounces, I can't take away 11 ounces. All right, remember in subtraction, the top number is what you have. The bottom number is what you want to take away from it. Okay? So I'm going to borrow and make this 36 pounds. And what I've done is I've brought over 16 ounces. I brought over a pound, but I'm bringing it over as ounces. 16 plus 5 means I now have 21 ounces. Now at this point, I can do 21 minus 11, and that will give me 10 ounces. And then 36 minus 21 would give me 15 pounds. Okay. All right, D. This we're adding, right? So 1 pint and 1 pint, by the way, equals a quart, right? Because 2 pints equal a quart. So let's just go ahead and add it over there right off the bat. So I'm left with a 9 and a 10, 16, 17, 2, 3, 4, 5, 57 quarts. All right, let's solve for y together. Here we go. This is 2 times y equals 6. And you know that 2 times 3 equals 6. I don't care that you know 2 times 3 equals 6. That's not what's important. What's important is that you can do the steps of the equation. So if this is 2 times y, we divide by 2 on both sides. That way y will end up by itself. See that? So now we're left with y over here, and we know that 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now we're going to input the y as a 3. And does that equal? It sure does. Okay. All right, let's do B. Y divided by 2 equals 6. So, because it's hard for me to write in there, I'm just going to rewrite it. So now to get rid of divided by 2, because this is y divided by 2, what's the opposite of divide? Multiply. So I'm going to put a 2 here, and I like to put it in parentheses. You don't have to. You can put a dot there. And so over here is times 2. Or I could have put it in parentheses. All right. Cross cancel. So over here I'm left with y. Over here I'm left with 12. Let's see if it works. 12 divided by 2 equals 6. And sure enough, 6 equals 6. Y minus 2 equals 6. Okay, so the opposite of minus 2, because I want y by itself. So I'm going to get rid of minus 2. To get rid of it, I'm going to make a plus 2. And then I have to put a plus 2 over here. That's the big thing. What you do on one side, you have to add to the other side. Or subtract to the other side. Or multiply to the other side. Or divide. Whatever you do on one side. Alright, so this is gone. And I'm left with y. But over here, I have 8. Let's see if it works. 8 minus 2 equals 6. And that does work. All right, on the last one here, it's y plus 2 equals 6. And I want to get rid of that 2, so the opposite of plus 2 is minus 2. So over here, I'll do minus 2. That means this is gone. And now I'm left with y equals 4. So 4 plus 2 equals 6. All right. Now, let's see if this works as I turn the page, because it had a little bit of problems with the last class. All right, here's the back. Let's see if I can get, there we go. Yours worked perfectly. Yay. Okay, let's write our formulas. I will write these with you because we're not together to drill. All right, so area of a triangle, area equals, I put base times height first just because I want you to see that the triangle is nothing but 2 squares, 2 rectangles, 2 parallelograms, 2 rhombuses put together. So a triangle is half of one of those. Because remember, in a rectangle and in a square and a parallelogram, we're always doing the length base times the height. All right? And a triangle is always half of that. I want the formula to make sense to you more than just memorize a formula. For B, for the area of a circle, we want the inside of the circle. So we have found out that the diameter How does it work? If you were to measure around the outside of the circle, it is always 3 1/7, or 3.14 times, is it the radius or the diameter? That's what I'm forgetting. It's one of them. So that's where we get pi. And to find the area, the inside, we take the radius and we square it. That means radius times radius. So if they gave you the pi, you'd have to change it to radius and then square it. And that's not the diameter. Diameter is radius times 2, which is the perimeter of a circle. Do they give you that on here? Or they call it the circumference of the circle. Yep, so the circumference of the circle is the pi times the diameter. And if they give you the radius, you would just do pi times 2. All right, area of a rectangle. That they call it length times the width, but it's pretty much just base times the height. They just have a little bit different terminology for it. The perimeter of the square is really just length times the width, but there's no technical length and width in a square because, I hope I'm not been covering in his room and see if I can find it. So I done that throughout the lesson. Perimeter of the circle is just all the sides added up. So you just take side times 4. Perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. It's just all the sides added up. Area of a square is the side squared. Area of parallelogram is just, we don't call it length times the width because the parallelogram's width is a little different than its height. So it's base times height. Technically, we could call the area of the rectangle base times height. All right, so go ahead and use those formulas for the questions you have below. For number 6, write the percent equivalent. This can get a little tricky, so let me do a few of these with you. So 0.325, to change a decimal to a percent, move the decimal back over towards the right. 2 places, okay, if it's a decimal. So we have 0.325, so if I move the decimal over twice, I have 32.5%. 3/8. Remember, if you can't remember, that's 0.375. If you didn't remember that, you could just do 3 divided by 8. And then you would say, well, that's 3 times, which is 24. That's 7 times, which is 56. And that's 5 times, and bring the decimal up, 3.75. Okay? So that's a 0.375. Oh, I'm sorry. Decimal goes here. That's 0.375. Now move the decimal over twice. You could write 37.5% or 37.5%. 1/4 is 0.25, which is 25%. 1.59, just move your decimal over twice. Okay. 1/6. Can you remember 1/6? I think it's 1/6 repeating. But to be honest with you, I can't remember. So what I'll do is I'll do 6 divided by, 1. Here I go, breaking my own rule. 1 divided by 6. I'm going to get a pen. Oh, see, it's getting gray on me again. I think my inks go. I need a new, I think I need a new battery in my pen. And they take a not a AAA, but a quadruple A battery. All right, so 6 goes into that 1 time. We get a 4. Yeah, see, we're going to get this 4 repeating. 6 into 40 is 6 times. And then at that point, we get this. Yep, it's 166, right? So if I'm thinking 0.166, I want to round this up to 2 places. So that's 0.17, which is 17%. Isn't it weird that the battery is dying, so my ink, it's getting lighter, but it's not really ink. Strange. All right, so 1/5 was 20%, remember? So 2/5 is double that. That's 40%. The other two I'm going to let you do on your own, mainly because I'm running out of ink. Don't forget for that, when you change it to a decimal, it starts out 5.5%. Then you move it over twice, so it's 0.055. Okay? This is 3/5 times 3/5 times 3/5. It's almost like it changes it to pencil or something. Because I think, I don't know. All right. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a good day. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.